They won't think about it when ordering. So there's just going to be loads of customers. I did it on Pride, stupidly. Like, I forgot about it on the Sunday. I just tried to order something in the morning.
Mm.
And the rider straight away texted me going, "What's your postcode?" And I texted him back and he cancelled.
Mm.
But I forgot, yeah, I'm in the street party. It's not as bad. Pride's just a lockdown for the whole day and night as well. Like, even when they do reopen the roads to traffic, you just don't want to be driving and all that. It's fucking chaos. Like, I can't compare it to Edinburgh Pride, obviously, but the whole city gets taken over by that party mentality. So there's just people just walking in the roads everywhere. Like,
Edinburgh Pride's kind of what's the word? It's kept in the one area.
yeah, well, where this has got a parade, I'm sure Edinburgh Pride's probably got a parade, no?
No, not really. No, it's just kind of like a big party in one area. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of hard to walk about in Edinburgh. It's all hills and that, tiny roads. It's kind of wonky.
Fair enough. But I'd imagine that main strip that I saw where that was that massive giant, what was it about?
Princess Street, George Street. They can't really fence it up. Like, can't really keep it for one thing because it's a main route to get through the traffic. It's kind of
Well, yeah, Brighton has that, but it just fucks it off, basically.
it's maybe a fuck.
Well, it goes. I don't. Brighton Pride used to just be a parade, and I don't know. I mean, decades ago, it went into a festival at the park as well. There was like a proper like party in the park, which is just hot bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and the street party was like unofficial because it's Kemptown where I live. And about 10 years ago, the council just started saying like, look, well, before they started saying it before that, but they were like, it costs so much to clean that up, and it's the policing, and they got to get other police forces involved and stuff, to help.
Oh, shit.
So then they made it a gated thing because they're just not going to stop it. It was one of them. Like, it's like it quite quickly became just acceptable that you can drink in the streets. Because they were just like, it's just the overwhelming amount of people doing it. It's just like, well, fuck it. They can't arrest everyone. But yeah, well, basically with all that combined, the city just locks down, and even when it is open technically to traffic, there's just people everywhere because they're travelling between the two different main events, and it's weird. It's like a ghost outside the parade route in the morning and early afternoon. It's like ghost town. There's no one around, no buses, no nothing, because buses can't get through. And then I remember being at the chicken shop last year, and Dwayne coming to work at midday, and I was like, "What the fuck's this? This is meant to be the busiest day of the year, and there's no one." I was like, "Is the parade route busy?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." Well, as soon as that goes past wherever those people are, they're all going to descend down it. So don't fucking. And literally, I think it was about 1:30. It was just like, boom.
Busy all of a sudden.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It's like that with Edinburgh Festival. It doesn't matter what pub or shop or newsagent you are, as soon as the hits about 10 o'clock in the morning, it's just chaos. Everybody leaves the hotel and just floods the place.
Starts bumming and wanking off.
Pretty much that. Die! That, honestly, that Lawnmower channel, I would probably watch that. Like, it seems quite interesting.
I got well into it. Well, I didn't watch loads of it, but yeah, I was
Take it as like landscape gardening.
He's just a guy. He's got Well, he mows. His company's called SB Lawns, or SB Mowing, and his name's Spencer something. So I assume it's just his initials, Mowing, and that's what he does. That's his. But it just goes to show, I watch all these videos by that Gary Vee and stuff about. He does a lot of stuff. He talks about social media content and stuff like that, and people are saying like, "How do I get more business?" He's just like more content. Like, think of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube as Fox, NBC, blah blah blah. Like, if you're on all those things, you'll win. Like, volume, like, fuck it. Like, And then people are go, oh yeah, but my business is like it's a this. There's nothing interesting in that. And he's just like, bullshit. Like, just literally film what you do, and you get plasterers and stuff, and like lawnmowers and shit. Just, I've seen ones where it's like they paint outside to houses, but they got this really fucking long, extended, expensive spray gun. It gets it all done really evenly, really quickly, so they can charge. Just shit like that. You just like, and that's what this video was. And when I clicked on his fucking channel, on his Facebook, when I clicked the video, his Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, he only had like 1,400 likes and like 600 followers. So I was like, okay, dude's doing all right. And then on his YouTube, I was just like, what? Nearly 750,000. Like, how?
It's just interesting, I suppose. Imagine people.
Well, he just does it. That's the thing. Like, again, something that Gary talks about. He's just like, you just got to do it. You're not going to get the results unless you start doing it. No one gives a shit for the first. He talks about his old channel because he got on YouTube like a couple of years after it was invented. But at first, he had like a wine shop that is his family business, and his attitude was like, I just want to take all the pretentious wine knowledge out of shit with people. But they don't really know much, but they're really pretentious about it. So I'm just going to say it and cuss while I say it. And I've seen the videos, like some of the clips and that, and he's just him sitting there in a really shittily lit studio and everything like that. Just going this wine, that wine. And he's just like, no one gave a shit for 3 to 4 years. And, sometimes it's about staying the course and like, even just experience of that sort of thing. So I used to do this shit channel before my conspiracist one, knowing all the time it was just an experiment channel.
Yeah.
Just making a couple of vids, just gets your stuff. Well, just gets your experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was proper surprised at some of the. I don't know, just some of the satisfying fucking reveals he had. Like, 'cause you look down at your pavements, you don't think much of it, do you? But I bet he was well pleased when he saw how overgrown some of those were, and he was just like, I'll clean it for you. And how pleased would you be if some random guy just came along and did that to your neighbour?
I can't you totally tough, like, 'cause I really hate doing that sort of thing. Like, I don't really do any sort of thing like DIY or housework or gardening or making things or doing stuff. I like to wash dishes. I don't like to cut grass. It's really tiring, like, it's really exhausting. I think properly fucks you up. Like.
Yeah, I don't have much opportunity, but when I have, I've liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite satisfying building stuff.
We've got an allotment near me, and it's real nice. Like, look, like I'll just walk past it, look at everybody's sort of crops and their like sheds and that. It's really nice. Like, they're decorated and stuff. Fighting for tomatoes now.
I hate seeing those stories where some cunts have just ruined some allotment.
Aye.
Kids,
the other ones are like fenced off, like total fucking Auschwitz. So. Like, no one's getting in here. Like, you fucking tricks. Ruining, like, what I hate is when people destroy like sunflowers or tulips. I really hate seeing that. Like, arseholes. Dickheads.
You do stuff as a kid, don't you? But like, I like to think I never went that far.
I don't think I've done that, but I think I maybe done like tulips. Maybe I ran through tulip fields and that. Kind of arseholes.
Yeah, there's plenty worse things in the world.
Aye. It's kind of fun to be shocking when you're younger.
Yeah. Vincenzo phoned me earlier, he's lost his job.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what happened?
What did he do? Like,
got fired.
What was his job?
He did something that he was taught was okay, that he knows isn't okay, but it's like a shortcut. Basically, he dropped a bit of bacon on the floor and then picked it up straight away and put it in the fryer.
Yeah.
And like, if you do that at home, it's not actually going to hurt anyone, really. Like, there's a slim chance of it hurting someone because it's only just dropped on the floor and you're putting it in 200-degree fryer oil for 4 or 5 minutes. But as part of EHO standards, that's not what you do.
Yeah, it's not part of the game, that.
No, it's not. And like, he done it. That was what Mattia was planning on doing with that fucking chicken, and like, it wouldn't have worked with the chicken because that was like rotten to its. That was already rotten inside. Like, it was already fucked. But dropping a bit of bacon on the floor and picking it straight back up, and like, it will kill any germs that it's picked up on the floor, back to bacteria. But it's the sort of thing where he's just been taught wrong by like a chef that's like a cowboy, you know, cowboy chef. That you get loads of them. I said this to him as well. Like, apart from you get two types of people in the chef industry in England. You get the foreigners who take it seriously, and then anyone who's English that ends up being a chef. It's those kind of divs who they were either going to be chefs or work in construction. They're the same kind of people like Kieran and Ross. They're just fucking scumbags. They're losers. That's the only thing that it's the best they could ever do. Not because they necessarily can't do anything else, but because they're wreckheads or whatever, their lifestyle. And you know, so you get taught by someone that's a dickhead like that just wants to cut corners, and it's just like, no, you know, you want to find out. But he did it in front of the wrong person as well.
Yeah.
It's harsh, but I understand firing someone for that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things are a case of you need to set the example to everyone else.
Was it the case that he just thought it was fine, or was like, oh shit, profit? And was he sort of like?
No, he knows he shouldn't have done it technically,
Yeah,
but it's one of the tough things. Yeah, right. One of the tough things about kitchens compared to bars is if you make a gin and tonic instead of a vodka tonic, you just go, oh, sorry, and you correct it like there and then really quickly, and it doesn't affect like the flow of everything else. And like, you just putting all the drinks on the bar at the end of the day, but with food, you're trying to bring everything to that table at the same time. So one element of it, one component, i.e. the bacon, you've got to start that from scratch. It just puts you back a bit if you're busy, and delays everything, has a bit of a knock-on effect. That's not a good enough reason, technically, but I understand why. He did it in front of me once and put it back, and I was just like, no, just get a new one. I don't want to worry. But really, to be honest, it was only because it was in front of another member of the staff. Like, if it was just me and him, I'd have been like, don't do that again.
I know it's completely safe, but you just need to play by the rules, like, when it comes to kitchens.
Yeah, exactly.
Service industry, like, you kind of...
Yeah, totally.
Fuck, I'd probably put a bit of bacon if it was being on the floor for about an hour.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
just a surface, but...
Yeah, but he's been harsh, and I you know, but I see it from both sides. Like, I said to him, you know, he's thinking if he can get him done for anything because he hasn't had 3 warnings or whatever. And I was like, well, it might come under gross misconduct. But it's the way they did it I don't particularly like as well. But I think they just Todd.
Firing is quite extreme. I think about it. Like, you know, he's getting some sort of 2 weeks without pay or something.
You can't maybe do that. That's slave labour, but
I mean, not like because they come in. I mean, he's suspended for 2 weeks or something like that.
Well, I mean, then you still need someone to do those shifts. I know what you say. Well, this is it. If it were me, it depends who it is. I mean, it's one of them. Like, because Todd, the owner who I used to work with, I said to Vincenzo, I was like, tell him. What about the time when he did fucking half a gram of MDMA and came into work 45 minutes later on a Saturday night? Like, you know, what the fuck?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Todd's done some loads of shit, but it might have been. I said to him, like, be honest with yourself. Is there anything else you've done wrong? And he's like, man, look, I'm always the first one to get there, last one to leave. Like, I do extra hours. Like, I twisted my ankle a few weeks ago, but they needed me, and he is a really reliable, good member of staff and a decent fellow and honest and stuff. And maybe he didn't handle I don't know. Maybe maybe there's things he could have said to keep his job that he didn't. But I think he's also been snaked a little bit as well. There's this woman that works there that's worked for him for years. I've never liked her, but I've got no reason other than just getting a bad feeling. I could just see in her eyes she's one of them rats. She's just a backstabber. She's a snake. I don't think she's a nice person at all. And she's the one that stitched him up, basically. It looks like and he was like, I thought she was my friend and that, and like, she's done this. And I was like, yeah, I've never liked her for these reasons. I'm not surprised. She's one of them people that, like, will stab people in the back to endear herself to the... But I mean, a lot of it is with them more than him. But the thing is, one of the things the only thing he doesn't really like about the job is this other chef he works with, but she does lines in the morning. You know, like people, like I used to get to work early so that I could